Well, good morning and welcome to Wayne Goldsboro Television. I'm Kim Best.
I'm Wayne Alley, and hello, it's Friday. Oh boy, it's the 22nd of March, March 22nd, a couple of days into our brand new season. Happy new season, by the way.
That's right. It is spring.
Boy. It is that, and you know, we have some cool temperatures.
Yes, we do.
Rolling in. It's been cool this week, and but it's before you know it, it'll be nice and warm again. But it hadn't been too bad. We've had some freezing temperatures overnight, but it's really been nice.
That's exactly right. Well, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. We have lots of exciting things happening in our community.
We do. For one thing today, I'm excited about Jessica Strickland coming back. She's back with us. She's been out for a while, and now she's back today. We're going to be talking about seeds. Seeds today. Jessica
Things
Strickland.
to plant.
Indeed, the horticulture agent for the Cooperative Extension Service here in Wayne County. Things to plant. We'll be talking about seeds and how to seed.
That's right.
Okay.
We also have a couple of participants in the new event coming up, Animals of Wonderland. I believe Sue Gregg and Alan Lumpkin are coming on today to talk about that production. It is quite exciting. You don't want to miss it.
It is that.
We also have Dr. Stephen Peters from Cherry Hospital on the show today. What is he talking about today?
Well, Dr. Peters is the chief of psychology at Cherry Hospital. We cover several things. We cover the new hospital for one thing.
That's exactly right.
We're going to be talking about when it's going to be ready for the folks of Wayne County to take a tour of it and see how it looks, how it's going to be. We'll also talk about issues concerning mental health.
So there you go. Quite a good lineup today.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about, and it's good. I hope you listen to what Dr. Peters has to say. He is such a nice guy. Great interview.
Glad to have him on the show.
Oh, yes.
Coming up soon, April 13th, is the Greater Goldsboro Road Run. We want to make sure that's marked on your calendar. That is supported by Downtown Goldsboro and the Sunrise Kiwanis Club. If you want to find out information about how to participate in this, you can go to runtheeast.com. They have all kinds of things. They have a 10K run for those of you that are more serious about it, a 5K run, a 5K walk, a 1 mile fun run. So there's something for everybody, and that is Greater Goldsboro Road Run coming up April 13th.
Yes, indeed.
Mark your calendars.
So many things going on. This time of year.
Spring is always so busy. It's my favorite time of year, though.
Well, look at what day is it, the road run, the 13th.
That's the 13th.
That's also the day of the Cures for the Colors run.
Yes, it is.
And I believe it's Pig in the Park as well, that same day.
Wow. So run a little bit, eat a little bit.
And then run again.
Run again, and run it all off.
You'll be running all day, that's right. But that's going to be a busy weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. You could actually participate in more than one event.
Of course you can.
You certainly can.
Keep yourself busy.
Did you ever ask yourself, well, gee, I wonder if this hand sanitizer really works?
I actually have thought of that.
Well, here you go. I have an answer for you, and it's good news. Sanitizer fans, good news for you. Those gels and foams do quite a number on the critters crawling on your skin.
I really don't like to think about that.
I know, let's not think about that. But as long as the sanitizer contains at least 60% alcohol, it will wreak havoc on microbes by nuking their cell membranes.
Oh, that's what we want to do.
What a lovely thought.
Yes, nuke the cell membranes.
That said, now, sanitizer is not a magic bullet. It is not a magic bullet. We've talked about that several times with David Madden here on the program.
So it's better to wash your hands with warm water and for 30 seconds or so.
Yes, that's always the preference. While the gels do kill germs, they do not actually clean the grime and the dirt off your hands. Or the Center for Disease Control still recommends washing up with soap and running water as long as the gold standard, but hand sanitizer is a good fill-in if you're on the go. So if you're on the go, use the hand sanitizer. It does work as long as it's 60% alcohol, but that is not meant to replace the good old-fashioned hand washing with soap and warm water and singing happy birthday to you.
Or whatever your favorite tune
Twinkle,
is.
Twinkle, little star.
That's right.
All that stuff, okay?
That's right. Glad to know it works, though.
It does work.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Well, Wayne, the senior games are coming up.
Oh, boy.
I know we've had several people coming in to talk to us about that, but the senior games will be taking place April 29th through May 30th, and they have various categories. A lot of categories. I was so surprised at how many they have. They have visual arts, performing arts, they have athletics, used loosely, they said. That means, I guess, when they say athletics, it's not extremely stern. They have things like badminton, they have bowling, they have a long list of things. Some are very competitive, though.
Don't get the wrong idea.
It's very competitive.
It's very competitive, and it's tough. And the reason you have to be 55 years or older is you might not be able to hang in there, you know.
There you go.
55 or older, can hang in there. But if you're younger than that, just can't handle it there. You know what I mean?
If you want to find out more details on the categories and the whole Senior Games event, you can go to Herman Park Center and pick up a brochure or registration form, or you can go to the Peggy Seegers Senior Center. It tongue ties me every time. And get information there as well. So both places have the details on the Senior Games coming up.
Exactly right. Oh boy, I had a whole bunch of stuff to talk about here, and I can't find anything. Hello.
That happens.
It does.
That happens.
It does.
Well, there's fun things happening at the Paramount, Wayne.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
What's going on?
Well, let's see. They've got the Water Coolers group is coming May 3rd, so that's out a little ways.
Okay.
They've been in New York, and they do a lot of performing up there. They're coming May 3rd at 7:30 p.m. It's a group of 4, 2 women, 2 men, and they are hilarious. They'll be here. Mark your calendars. We also have Shayna Tucker.
Oh, the
Remember,
cellist.
the cellist is coming.
Yeah.
She's coming April 12th. That's not too far around the corner. Coming up, and she absolutely plays beautifully. I've talked with Sherry Archibald about it quite a bit, of course, director of the Paramount Theater, and she says this is one you don't want to miss.
Right.
She is fabulous. So mark your calendars. Lots happening at the Paramount Theater.
I got a note from Takesha Darden.
Yes.
And she's telling us again the note to teens and parents and teachers and youth leaders that the abstinence essay contest is underway. Prizes are fantastic. Third place prize for the winner of this essay contest. Third place is a $300 $300 scholarship and a $50 gift certificate. Second place is a $100 gift certificate and a $500 scholarship. And
That's
for
nice.
first place, isn't that nice? Listen to this. First place, $200 gift certificate and a $1,000 scholarship.
Oh, that is awesome.
Students who plan to participate must complete an abstinence essay entry form, hold-up form.
And what ages do they have to be?
This is age, the usual.
The usual.
Oh, teenagers in grades 9 through 12.
There we go.
There you go. Grades 9 through 12, public, private, or homeschooled are all eligible to participate. The entry form is available through participating schools or online at www.wayneteens.com. Wayne Teens, T-E-E-N-S, Peggy Seegers, TEENS.com, wayneteens.com. You may also call the health department at 731-1290 to obtain an entry form. Deadline's May 15th. May 15th, deadline to the Wayne County Health Department.
That's right.
If you have any questions, 731-1290.
There's some mighty good prizes.
I'm telling you, that's fantastic. And this particular event, this competition, gets a tremendous amount of support. A tremendous amount of support, and that is a wonderful thing. It's the Abstinence Essay Contest. Why abstinence is the best choice for teens in the prevention of teenage pregnancy. So, again, 731-1290.
Great calls.
Yes.
Let's see, we want to remind you, coming up soon, the Family Y has something exciting going on.
Okay.
This is their 15th annual golf tournament that'll be taking place on April 18th. They have done this, as I just said, for 15 years, so they're excited to say that it's going to be at Walnut Creek Country Club.
Wow.
All the proceeds go back to the Family Y and providing scholarships for people to be able to participate at the Y.
Wow.
They're providing lunch. They've got a tea time at 11 o'clock, tea time at 12 p.m. Have hole-in-one sponsors. The list goes on and on. If you want to participate, they have teams. It's $400 for a team, right, Wayne?
Oh, right, Wayne.
The team includes lunch, dinner, a day at the event, cart fees, green fees, goodie bags, beverages, snacks on the course, and the list goes on and on.
Excellent.
Call Cricket Davis at 778-8557 if you want to participate in their 15th annual golf tournament.
Oh, boy.
That's
Oh, boy.
right.
Oh, boy. We've talked a lot about animals in Wonderland, so I'm going to skip this page.
All right.
Because we're going to be talking more about it.
Yeah, you're going to hear about that soon.
That's right. And Charlie Ivey was in here.
Recently,
we're
that's
going to be
right.
hearing from him pretty soon in the next few days.
That's right. Charlie's got lots of things going on.
Man, I'm telling you,
I
that
mean.
is a busy organization. The Partnership for Children is a busy organization. Charlie and Valerie Wallace came by, and we're going to be hearing from them in a few days. But they've got the lobster.
Lobsters
thing.
are coming to Goldsboro.
man.
Lobsters and shrimp. Stay tuned for that.
Yeah, we'll tell you all about that.
That's right. You'll
Tell
hear
you all.
about it later. If you want to find out more information about those lobsters, Call pfcw.org.
Here you go, Cures for the Colors. Here's your chance right here to really support a great organization, Cures for the Colors. Jim Atkins is going to tell us about this. But on April 13th and 14th, it's your choice to either participate in a 1-mile fun walk, which is also a run for beginners or children or families, a 1 mile, or a 5.26-mile loop walk, or a 26.2-mile certified marathon, or a 100-mile certified run. A 100-mile run. And Jim told me last year they actually had 3 people run the 100 miles.
Kudos to them.
I'm telling you, this is a great thing, and there's a lot of things to do and a lot of participation taking part. It starts at 9 o'clock the morning of April 13th. And if you want information about this, you can go to southeasterncancercare.org. Southeasterncancercare.org, or go on, that's online, or you can call them at 587-9044.
Perfect.
Okay.
Well, Wayne, I believe it's time to move on to go hear Animals in Wonderland, what that's all about, and hear from Dr. Stephen Peters with Cherry Hospital, so stay tuned. Hi, good morning, and welcome back to Wayne Goldsboro Television. With me this morning are Sue Gregg and Alan Lumpkin, and they are participants in an upcoming production of Animals of Wonderland. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kim.
So tell me all about this new and exciting show that's coming up, Animals of Wonderland. Who is sponsoring this, and what's it all about?
Well, it's an original musical produced by Dr. Swirling here in Goldsboro, and it's to benefit to Humane Society and the Animal Shelter. And the Animal Shelter they don't have any runs and anywhere so that they can take the animals out, and we're trying to have the money that's made from this show go towards that as one of our projects.
Wonderful. Well, it sounds like it's an appropriate name, Animals of Wonderland, and of course
True.
it's benefiting our local animals here in the community, both the Humane Society and the Animal Shelter.
Correct.
Tell me more about the program itself. What can people expect?
Expect anything. If you know Dr. Swirling, expect anything.
You know what is so funny? That is the conversation we hear in everybody's interview when they're explaining this particular upcoming production. Everybody says the same thing. Dr. Swirling, or Dr. Z as we know him, he's so creative. He's got such a creative mind, and he, like you said, really took this production and changed it and wrote it up. And what will we see?
It's been evolving. Every time we meet and have practice, it evolves. I mean, he thinks of something different. He says, oh, let's try this, let's try this. And it's been evolving even since last night. We were practicing last night. It's amazing. And you're going to see a twinge of Alice in Wonderland, but not much. He's incorporated the animals and a lot of satirical humor. It's great for kids, but adults will have fun too. It's just an amazing production. And dancing, singing, Encore is involved in this with a very great singing group. A lot of people there.
Oh, yes.
A lot of local singers, a lot of local talent. We have some local dignitary attorneys that will be actually having a court session in this production. Mr. Jeff Holtz and Mr. Brandy Vickery will be in there. So we're bringing in lots of local talent, and it's amazing the talent we have here in Wayne County.
And it's actually made up of all local people, is that correct?
All local people, yes.
Nobody is hired to come in. This is all local people giving up their time.
All volunteers.
Volunteering.
It is.
Well, how long have you guys been rehearsing and practicing for this show?
Well, we've been practicing about 2 months.
Yeah, about 2 months. It's
That's
been on and off.
dedication.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, by it changing every time, it's really
You really have to stay
you
on
really
your
have
toes.
Exactly. Exactly.
So we're going to see lots of community people. This is all a twist on Alice in Wonderland, and it's now Animals of Wonderland.
Correct.
Been totally changed and tweaked, and we'll hear a lot of things about our own community, so I'm told.
That's true.
Oh, yes.
A lot of little Goldsboro sayings will be in there, and different buildings and things they might hear a little bit about.
Exactly.
Well, tell us, where can we get tickets, and when is this particular production?
You can go online or call in, or in person go to Paramount, and you can get your tickets then. We will have 2 performances. On Saturday, March the 30th, we'll have a matinee at 2. And it's a great deal because the adult ticket is $25 and the child's ticket is $15. But at the matinee, you pay for an adult ticket and the child gets in free.
Well, you can't
So-
beat that.
Can't beat
Oh, it's
that.
great.
You
It's
cannot
great.
beat that. It's wonderful.
And the evening performance will be at 7, and those tickets will be $25 for adults and $15 for children.
Okay, so they can go to the Paramount Theater.
Right?
They can go to the Paramount online and purchase
Correct.
that way. Or they can call the Paramount and find out additional details about the program. If
Exactly.
they'd like to get tickets or reserve them.
Right.
Exactly.
And the show is just part of the fun. That morning from 11 to 1, leading up to the first matinee show, we're going to be down at where the Center Street Jam is held, that parking lot there, and we have Shag Daddy Mike over will be playing music. We have lots of vendors involving not only treats and stuff for animals, all kind of, what kind of stuff? Personalized collars for animals and stuff like
So
that.
anything you can imagine for animals will be there.
Yeah, horses, cats. We'll even have the sheriff's department there with their working dogs.
Yep.
Well, I had a sneaky feeling there may be some little Easter bunnies there.
Yes.
There are
There
some,
may be
yep.
some chicks and various things that young children can come and get their pictures made with, and maybe even some of the characters in the show in costume they can
That's
get their
what I've
photos
heard.
made. That's what
That's
I've
what
heard
I've
too. You don't ever know. It's a morning and a day of excitement and adventure in Wonderland.
And we also want to encourage the kids, if they want to come dressed up as their favorite animal or little Easter outfits, whatever they want to come dressed in, since it has an Easter theme also.
That's right, 'cause it's Easter weekend when this is
exactly.
taking place.
Exactly.
My goodness. So it's coming up soon, March the 30th at the Paramount Theater. There's a 2 o'clock matinee, a 7 o'clock show.
7 o'clock,
Yes.
exactly.
Everything takes place right there at the Paramount Theater, downtown Goldsboro. You can purchase tickets there. My goodness, it's going to be a day full.
And you might even see your own Kim Best there.
Well, I think many of us are going to be participating.
And Wayne, don't forget Wayne.
That's right.
Wayne.
I think
Oh,
Wayne
yeah.
Alley. I know Wayne Alley's in the
What type of
show.
animal is Wayne?
I don't think he's an animal. I think
Oh.
he's a joker.
Oh,
He is a joker, all
Does that
right.
fit or what?
that should be fun.
I mean, so you've got your local district attorney, Brandy Vickery, in it. You've got Jeff Holtz, and there's a long list of people in this community that have volunteered their time. You've got a pretty big cast.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
A lot of
we
people
really
involved.
do.
A lot of people involved.
Dr. Swirling, I think, has done a brilliant job
my goodness.
on this.
And Debbie Grady also, we got to thank Dr. Debbie
Yes.
Grady. She has been the backbone of this whole thing as far as getting advertisements and stuff like that.
She's been like the coordinator of
Yes.
the entire
Yes.
production,
She
hasn't
is
she?
She has done everything.
Yes.
Thank you, Debbie.
Everything.
What a great
Thank
job
you.
you've
Good job,
done.
Debbie.
Well, and I believe the whole Heritage Foundation has been a part of this, and Top Hat Ballroom, Acme Theater, all of this has been, it's all part of Dr. Zwirling's way of giving back to the community, and we're excited to have something like this that can benefit our local animals.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So thank you all for giving of your time and coming and talking about the show today.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it
Thank you
very
for
much.
having us.
Absolutely.
It's been great.
And if you want to come, and you should, come out and check out Animals of Wonderland. It's March 30th, the Paramount Theater, 2 o'clock show, 7 o'clock show, and don't forget all the activities happening starting at 11 o'clock that morning over at the same parking lot where Center Street Jams take place. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you at the Paramount Theater.
Chief of Psychology at Cherry Hospital. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, Wayne. Happy to be here.
Glad to have you with us again. It's always great to have you come by.
Yes, indeed.
First of all, before we get to our topic, I'd kind of like to get an update on where we stand on the construction of the new hospital. How's
yeah,
that going?
Wayne, we're very excited about the new Cherry Hospital. It's a big project. It's going to be so much better for the folks of us over at Cherry Hospital. We're looking forward to that, finally being able to be in Cherry Hospital, the new one. We're down kind of to the fine details now, kind of down the home stretch, as we like to say. We're still not sure as far as exactly. We're hoping this summer sometime to actually be in the new hospital. At some point, we're going to have a lot of new employees, but maybe by midsummer, looking at a lot of new employees to help staff that new building. And so that's, when you think about the employees as well as the new structure itself, it's quite an exciting project.
It is exciting, and it's a beautiful complex. There's a picture of it behind us here, and
Yes.
it's just gorgeous. Does the picture do it justice? I mean,
I think so. I think what it doesn't show is the inside, how it's very open, it's very spacious, very modern kind of a design, but to give you that kind of an open, airy feel, if you will, instead of feeling more closed in or that claustrophobic kind of idea. But it's very spacious. and it'll be a very comfortable place for everybody to be.
I'm hoping, and I'm going to put you on the spot here,
Yeah.
I'm hoping perhaps before it opens officially, we can go out and get some video.
Oh, and we would love to have you. I think we are planning to have some open houses, even for
Great.
the public to come out,
Great.
take a look at this facility, kind of see what we have now. I think we're going to plan a few of those opportunities, but certainly to have you guys out, we'd love to do that. Yeah.
How
Really
much
fun.
input do the professionals have in designing the hospital? I know you have to have input as far as color,
Sure.
and ease of access, and egress, degress, regress.
Oh,
whatever
sure.
you
A
call it.
lot of details. I mean, we've been meeting with the architectural team now for over 2 years. So from the very beginning, the footprint of the building is very much like we have at Central Regional Hospital up in Butner. But aside from the footprint, there's a lot of differences from the inside. And so there's been a lot of input to sort of how, for our population, for those of us that work there, how we feel like the new Cherry Hospital needs to be. And so that's been very collaborative, sort of working out those details. And
A lot of has come out in the last few years about the environment needed for patients with disorders, mental disorders. The environment that needs to be, color is important.
Sure.
Surroundings. Give me an example, if you would, of how what colors are best, or are different colors better for certain conditions than others?
not so much that, but it tends to be that the softer, more muted tones, more earth tones, kind of the blue hazes, if you will. Not so much the strong, bright. Think of it just from a stimulus value. The brighter, stronger colors, and while that might be the kind of popular interior design idea nowadays, is to have strong, bold, striking colors. We tend to think of that the softer, more muted, a little softer palette is kind of the way to go.
And as far as environment, less is better?
Well, yeah, probably the biggest change that we see in the new hospital is single occupancy rooms. People will have their own individual space, their own bedroom, their own bathroom area. Now there's as many as 4 to a room.
Really?
And so at least 2 or 3, maybe sometimes 4. And kind of a shared bathroom, shower, bathing facility areas, more like you would see a locker room style kind of thing.
And I'm sure at some time that it was felt that was the better way of going, that was what was needed.
Yeah, and sort of in the early days, and there's a certain economy of that. But now we kind of the value and the benefit of having a little more privacy, having your own space, it probably makes a little more comfortable. It's probably safer in the long run. A lot of attention to safety in the new hospital.
That's great.
Aside from the technology, it's real high tech, a much more modern technology point of view. And so overall, with these architectural designs, the more privacy, more opens, more space, even in a day room, shared community space, but given more of a flow that you have some options. If you don't want to be around a lot of people, maybe there's a place where you can go where it's a little bit quieter, a little calmer, and you can have some control over where a person would want to be.
Yeah. The Cherry Hospital, the current hospital, was built when?
Well, we opened in 1880. Now, none of our buildings right now have lasted since 1880. They built them pretty well, but not that long.
Not that long.
Most of them, some in the 40s. I think the latest is probably in the 60s.
So we're looking at 60 to 80 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Approximately
Yeah,
in age.
right.
Do you see the new hospital going 60 to 80 years?
Oh, much older, more than that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And again, you think about what was the state of the art, even in heating and cooling, 60 years ago. Well, and it's fuel oil and maybe not the most economical, energy efficient that we would have in a brand new building now.
Right.
So I think the energy efficiency, the technology that we have in the new structure will hopefully last us for a good long time.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we're all excited about the new hospital, and
Yeah, we are.
sometime this year it's going to be open.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
hope so.
Excellent. I want to talk to you today about PTSD, post-traumatic stress
Yes,
disorder. How is that defined?
Well, post-traumatic stress disorder, it's a disorder. A couple parts to this definition. First of all, the individual has had to experience some kind of traumatic event. Now it comes down to, well, what's traumatic event? Well, it's traumatic for them. Now there are some pretty horrific things that happen to people, different kinds of assaults, traumas, things like that. But if it's perceived by that individual, you know, in eastern North Carolina, we have a lot of natural disasters. We have some of the hurricanes and flooding and some of those problems that can certainly be traumatic for people and have some post-traumatic stress disorder occur. The symptoms are usually come in two main categories. We have that cluster of problems where you want to avoid anything at all similar or anything remotely close to where that occurred, anything like where the trauma occurred. And at the same time, there's another cluster of symptoms where you're sort of repeating or reliving. You either have thoughts about it, dreams about it, nightmares about it, where you can't quite get over it. And so there's that aspect of it.
This could be anything from an act of violence to a traffic accident.
Sure.
To anything traumatic.
Particularly automobile accidents where there's a fatality.
Yes.
And whoever survived it has, probably about a 75% likelihood of having some of the symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder.
All right, post-traumatic, simply by definition, would be after the trauma.
Sure, sure. So that first 30 days, we really don't call that post-traumatic stress disorder because you're still in the midst of it.
In trauma.
So that's an acute stress disorder, acute stress reaction, we call it. But after 30 days, after some period of time, and if those, because we kind of expect that for that first period of time, that first 30 days, you're going to have some difficulty adjusting. Everybody's going to do that, or at least a lot of folks. But after some period of time where you're not able to get past it, then we're talking about post-traumatic stress disorder.
Could this also be, could it affect someone who is perhaps not involved in the accident, someone who actually witnesses an accident?
Oh, sure, yeah. A lot of first responders, paramedics, firemen. There are certain parts of the country where the nature of the paramedic response and their duties just day in, day out, or in a big urban area, for example, what they have to encounter, what they see, what they take part in. Post-traumatic stress disorder is almost a given for some of those guys and women who have that duty.
So how is it identified, or how do you see it?
Yeah, well, there is that sort of having those symptoms, from an avoidant point of view, as well as reliving and re-experiencing some of the trauma. What's interesting, the Veterans Administration, and because of all the active military guys who are coming home now from overseas, having so much post-traumatic stress disorder, they've really taken a close look at, well, what is this disorder about? What can we do about it? One of the first things is the prevention of it, and what the military is now talking about in terms of resiliency training. The stronger you are emotionally before the trauma, the more prepared you are for it, the better you're going to handle it when life brings that to you. Right. So resiliency training and exposure is a big part of really the prevention of post-traumatic stress disorder. And then looking at, well, when post-traumatic stress disorder does occur, what are some of the more effective ways The old idea of let's sit down and let's tell me about what happened, what you saw, and kind of reliving it, that for a good number of folks, that's really not the best approach, because that's just sort of re-traumatizing and reliving and revisiting that's not necessarily the best approach.
Wow.
So it does come back for each individual, having to really take a close look at what's going to be effective for them, whether a little bit of time talking about what they went through, because that's kind of what people want to do, and then talking about how to move forward, and the kind of a future-focused approach is kind of the more a more effective way for a lot of people. It involves, how do you cope with these symptoms? Really, it's more than just symptom management, but helping the person get past and restructure, rethink about some of those experiences.
Right.
So I think the VA is sort of leading us in a new way of thinking about post-traumatic stress disorder.
This is a major problem, particularly for returning military. Any idea on the numbers of people affected by PTSD?
Yeah, a lot. What's sort of, I always think of an interesting statistic about post-traumatic stress disorder. About 75% of the people who experience, again from their perspective and their definition, a traumatic experience, do not have post-traumatic stress disorder. That most people turn out are very resilient, cope, deal with it. It wasn't a good thing, it wasn't easy, it was hard, it was horrible, but I dealt with it and do not develop symptoms. It's about 25% of the people who have that traumatic life experience then can go on to have post-traumatic stress disorder. And so sometimes in the field we think, well, if somebody had they had a car wreck and there was a fatality and it was a traumatic, difficult thing, by definition, the person must have post-traumatic stress disorder.
Right.
Well, that's really not true. Matter of fact, all things being equal, 75 to 25, says they're going to probably be okay.
Yeah.
Now it's that 25%, a quarter of that population, are the ones that we get concerned about.
So how do you determine the difference?
Yeah, well, it's really looking for those symptoms. How is the person functioning?
Yeah.
Are they moving on after that period of time where we expect them to have a rough period of time? Once we get into the post-trauma days, are they having those symptoms? Either the intrusive, disruptive, reliving of the experience, or are they avoidant in some ways? If they were driving to work and it occurred at the big parking lot, now they just don't want to go they're having a hard time getting back to work because that's where it happened. Well, that's a symptom of post-traumatic stress disorder. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me ask then. It seems that it doesn't always necessarily have to be a traumatic experience. Could it be, perhaps, could it affect someone be suffering from PTSD after having experienced a death in the family?
Oh, sure, because that's, a loss of a loved one ranks right up there in terms of the more difficult things that we have to cope with.
So they could have the same symptoms?
Oh, sure, just as if that military guy coming back who lost some of his, his fellow soldiers. Yeah. It would be a very similar profile for that person who just lost a lifetime spouse, perhaps.
Yeah. Wow. Is there anywhere anyone could go to find out more about PTSD?
Sure. I mean, of course, the internet has a lot of good information, particularly looking at what the Veterans Administration, I think it's va.gov, would be the #1 resource. They because they're dealing with so much of this, they have become sort of the experts in the field when it comes to PTSD.
Okay, va.gov, and that's for anybody and everybody who wants information about PTSD.
Yes, indeed.
All right, Dr. Stephen Peters is the Chief of Psychology at Cherry Hospital. We're very happy to have you with us, and we'll see you again very soon.
Okay, thank you, Wayne.
And we are back. Oh boy.
Yeah, that sounds like it's going to be some exciting things at the Animals in Wonderland event, and so glad to hear from Dr. Stephen Peters.
Oh yes, indeed. I'll tell you, He's going to be with us on a regular basis.
Great.
And he's a pleasure to speak with, and he always brings great information to the table.
Yes, he does.
All right. Looking over birthdays today very quickly. Today, March 22nd. It's a Friday. Reese Witherspoon is having a birthday today.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. James Patterson, the author, having a
Yeah.
birthday. He has kind of taken on a increased popularity here in the last year or two. Very popular writer
Well,
now.
there's a television show too that also every now and again will mention him.
Oh, really?
In the TV shows. I'm sure that helps.
Oh.
Yeah, it's called Castle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of neat.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I like Castle.
I like Castle,
I like
too.
Castle. Okay. Another one of my favorite actors, and some people don't like this guy, but I like him, William Shatner.
Oh yeah.
Captain Kirk having a birthday, and he'll always be known as Captain James T. Kirk.
No matter what he does, he'll always be known
He'll
as
always
that.
be known for that, in spite of the fact that he's done some insurance commercials.
Yes,
But
he has.
Besides all that,
Just own it, Captain Kirk.
but he has a really, really warp speed sense of humor. Very funny man, but he's having a birthday today. And Marcel Marceau is having a birthday today. Marcel Marceau was once quoted as saying,
Yes. Nothing?
he's a mime.
Well, there you go.
There you go. And in fact, there was a movie. Who was in? I don't remember the necessarily who was in it. Was I believe it was it Albert Brooks? Anyway, a bunch of funny people.
Of
The name
course.
of the movie was Silent Movie, and there was only one word spoken during the whole movie.
What was it?
No. That was the only word. The name of it was Silent Movie.
Well, they didn't have a difficult time learning their lines.
Marcel Marceau was the person who said it. The irony of it. Anyway, besides all that, another one of my favorites.
Yes.
One of the Marx brothers, Chico Marx. The man was an amazing pianist.
Do you know how old he is?
Oh, he's dead.
Oh,
He's
okay.
dead. But he was born this day, 1887. But the Marx brothers are my favorites. The top two or three of my favorites. Everything they did was just hilarious. 1887 he was born. Louis L'Amour, born this day, 1908. Carl Malden has also passed away. He died a few years back. But he was a guy on streets of San Francisco with Michael Douglas. And he also did some commercials for credit card. And he's the guy that always said, don't leave home without it.
Oh, okay. That's what he's
Okay,
famous for. That's his line.
That's one of his lines, yeah. Stephen Sondheim, the composer and lyricist, born this day, 1930. Wolf Blitzer
Oh, yes.
is 65 today. He was born this day, 1948, broadcast journalist. 1948.
I know.
Yeah, yeah. And from Delight, Arkansas, yeehaw, Mr. Glenn Campbell
All right.
is having a birthday today, and he's had some health issues the
Yes.
last few years, but he's really a really genuinely nice person.
That's good to
He
know.
truly is.
Well, happy birthday to each and every one of you.
And in fact, he did a concert here as a guest. He came on stage on somebody else's concert, just made a guest appearance, and sang 2 or 3 of his own songs
Right.
flawlessly.
Oh, good for him.
Good for him is right, because he's having a bit of
Yes.
a problem with remembering things.
Yeah.
So
I
he
saw
did
that
it.
show. It was
Did
actually
you see
very
that?
good. Yeah.
It was just
a little bit
outstanding.
sentimental.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
Yes.
that was yesterday.
All right.
Okay.
One last thing before we go to our next interview. Operation Medicine Drop is coming up. It's actually today between the hours of 2 and 4 p.m. at Walgreens at 2606 East Ash Street. You can bring by any old expired medication and they will dispose of it for you. March 20th, which is already passed, they had it as well. Let's see. That's the only place they're offering. Is it today at Walgreens between the hours of 2 and 4. If you had old medication, they want you to bring it by. They'll dispose of it properly, because today this is an issue. It is an issue of people taking medicine that is expired, and it is causing problems. We want to make sure that doesn't happen to you, your children, or anybody you know.
Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that not all medication is dangerous, but how do you know which?
Right.
You don't know which, and it's always safer to go ahead and dispose of the old medications that is expired and outdated.
That's right. Today between 2 and 4.
That's right.
Walgreens on Ash Street.
All right. Who's up?
All right. I believe Jessica Hyatt from Cooperative Extension is up next, so stay tuned.
And here we are in the studio today with Jessica Strickland. Jessica's been out for a while now. She's back with us. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
I'm glad you're back.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad to be back.
Just in time for the beginning of the growing season.
It is.
Oh boy.
That time is here.
It is here. So today we're going to be talking about seeds. Is that right? What kind of seeds will we be talking about today?
I'll talk about, I got some different seeds for examples of talking about size of seeds and how deep to plant them. But we've got some spinach seeds and some lettuce seeds and then some pumpkin seeds just for an example of larger seeds.
Well, let's take a look at what we have here. What are you showing us here?
Right here is some spinach seeds and a little bit bigger than what we've got in the middle is your lettuce seeds, really small. Tiny seeds.
Little tiny things there.
And then you've got some pumpkin seeds, which are your larger seeds, usually pumpkins, squash, cucumbers, those types, beans, are your larger seeds that you deal with in a vegetable garden.
And when would we be planting the pumpkin and the...
Pumpkins usually not till a lot later, usually around summertime, midsummer, late summer.
Okay.
People start planting pumpkins to get them in time for October, for the fall. Spinach and lettuce seeds, though, they're a crop that you can plant in the spring and the fall. So you can go out now and start planting lettuce and spinach seeds along with onions and potatoes. Some of those types of vegetables that are cool season vegetables. Broccoli is another example. And you can get a spring crop because these will grow until it gets too hot. Okay. So they're a cool season crop. Pumpkins are warm season.
Okay. All right, now we're talking spinach and lettuce here.
Yes.
Now, how do you go about planting these? How deep do you go and all that? And what how do you prepare the soil for these?
Well, with the soil, lettuce and spinach are good ones that if you have a raised bed, they work really well because you can just kind of broadcast and spread it around. You don't have to put them in rows. Some people put them in rows, and that works too. You want high organic matter. You want compost mixed in with your soil because that organic matter will improve the drainage. If you have poor drainage, it'll loosen up the soil. Right. But if you have sandy soil that drains too quickly, it'll hold moisture also. So it kind of works both ways for whether you have poor drainage as far as that's on the wet side or that it dries too quickly. Okay. And you'd prepare your bed that way. And depends on the seed as far as how you want to spread them. Usually these little lettuce seeds, you can just sprinkle them and just we just usually say broadcast them out. And then just barely cover them with soil. You don't want to hardly cover them. They're so tiny that usually we say as far as how deep to plant them, that's why I brought the pumpkin seed, is you plant them 2 to 3 times as deep as the size of the seed. Oh, okay. And so your pumpkin, larger seeds like that, you would plant deeper. These seeds you would plant especially these small ones just right on the surface, and then spinach just a little bit deeper. Okay. And but usually lettuce, most people sprinkle it and then kind of press it down a little bit, or maybe just sprinkle a little soil, but they don't really, you don't want to bury it with a layer of soil. So it needs the warmth of the sun, I suppose, to kind of help it get started? Yeah, sometimes, and the major thing is that layer, if you had a big layer of soil, it just takes so long for those seeds to try to break through that. Oh, yeah. Because they're so tiny. Is that one plant per seed? It can be, yes. Really? It can. So a lot of people will plant it and just kind of broadcast or sprinkle it over an area. Yeah. And then they will go back and thin it out. Yeah. If they've got too much of a cluster of plants coming up, they might thin them out, or replant them and spread them out some. And some people who may be new to gardening don't want to thin them out because they think they're throwing away the plants. Yeah, and if you catch them early, you can try to plant them in empty spots. Some transplant well, some plants might not transplant as well. You want to be very careful and kind of scoop it up where you're catching the roots and everything if you were trying to replant it somewhere else. Or in an empty spot, but a lot of people feel like when you thin it out, you're getting rid of plants, but really what you're doing is those plants are competing for water, nutrients. Right. And if you thin them out, you're going to get larger plants, so for these you get larger, better leaves. Okay. Now, this would be an iceberg lettuce, would it? This is actually a salad bowl mix, and what that is the leafy, loose lettuce where you just harvest the leaves. Yeah. And so you can go out, I do this in my garden, just harvest the leaves in a bowl when I'm ready for a salad, and then go back and get more every time. And then that way you're assured it's a fresh Right, yeah, and you just wash and rinse it off and it's ready to go.
Okay, well now, does that harm the plant, or will new leaves grow?
No,
or?
you'll have more leaves, and until you get warmer temperatures, that's when it'll start trying to flower and go to the next life cycle as far as flowering
The
and
next
producing
level.
seed. And
Yeah.
once it does that, then all the energy of the plant's going to the flower, and that's where your leaves then
Okay.
don't start to taste as well. And
Can you just get rid of the flower? Will it continue, or
you
is
could
it
try. You could try to do that, get rid of the flower, but eventually, whenever we get our warmer temperatures, it fizzles out anyway.
It's gonna happen.
It does,
okay.
yeah. But the good part is you can get it in the spring and the fall. You know, once you can go ahead and plant this again in the fall and get a fall crop.
All right, but this is just what they call a salad.
Yeah,
lettuce.
it's just a mixture of different leafy lettuces, and that are all mixed together.
All right, now what about the spinach?
The spinach, I can't.
know
The
you
varieties
said-
actually, I don't even have the variety. I have to look at
That's
the package. But spinach, you can treat it pretty much the same as
That's the
lettuce.
same. Okay.
You collect the leaves, and again, once it heats up, then it'll in its life cycle and pretty much be through with it. And a lot of times when we plant seeds, you have a seed packet. A couple important things to look at. It'll have plant spacing. It'll have planting depth to let you know how deep to plant it. The other thing is that you'll have days to germination. So like for the spinach, it's 10 to 14 days. So that kind of gives you an idea of how long it's going to take to germinate, to kind of plan when you want to plant.
All right.
And days to maturity's 50 to 60 days. So that kind of lets you know how long it's going to take before you start harvesting.
Okay, 50 to 60 days before you start harvesting. But now, when do you plant these seeds?
Usually, a lot of people plant them a little early. There's still people are planting them now, and there'll be enough there once they reach maturity that you can go ahead and start harvesting them.
Okay, with all things considered, April 15th would be the last date of possible frost. April, March, April. So now's the time to be planting these.
It is, yeah, and they can handle a little bit of frost. If it was, for some reason, we had a heavy frost or a heavy late freeze that came along, a lot of people cover them for the night.
All right.
And but they can take light frost and be okay.
They can. All right. Well, how late can you plant these before they start flowering? And
You're probably getting towards the end of how late you'd want to plant them, so that you've got enough time to be able to harvest some leaves before
so
warm weather.
maybe by the end of March
I would say, yeah, end of March would be
the
on the late
end
side.
of the end of the planting season
Right.
for these. All right.
Yes.
Spinach and lettuce and pumpkins later on in the year.
Yeah, pumpkins are a lot later. I just brought those as example of larger seeds that you have to plant them deeper. Another thing when you plant seeds, when you buy a seed packet, you want to check the date on it.
Yeah.
There's got to be a date on a seed packet. Make sure that it's current seed will have on there. It's packaged for whatever year, and usually say sale by a certain date. And like this is actually one I had from last year, and it says it's packaged for 2012, sale by October 2012. So it's a year old.
What happens if you plant seeds that are a year old or older?
You can still get germination, but it depends on how they've been stored. If they've been stored where there's a lot of humidity and moisture, it's going to reduce your germination. But it doesn't mean you won't get it. You got to expect that you're going to have less.
Going to have less.
Yeah,
Okay.
and whenever it starts to get to be older seeds.
So for best results, get current year seeds.
Right.
And is there such a thing as a market of used seeds, or a place that you that you would not are all the seeds pretty much the same?
They are pretty
okay.
much. Places that sell seeds, they try to get rid of them by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And they replace them with new ones. But it is something important to check, that if you do store some people store them in the freezer and so forth,
Yeah.
and then use them next year.
Does that work?
It can. What it's doing is freezer. It's dry enough where it's keeping the moisture away and some of the humidity away. So it is a way you can store them.
Okay.
Usually paper bag. You want to avoid putting in plastic. It seems like plastic sometimes creates some moisture.
Use
like
a paper
Ziploc.
bag. Don't use
Paper
plastic.
bags work better.
Okay. All right. Before we run out of time here, I want to talk about the Master Gardeners. Tell me about
Yes,
that. How's it going?
our Wayne County Extension Master Gardeners have their plant clinic every year, and that has started the 1st of March, and they have a plant clinic that's open Mondays and Wednesdays, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And you can go by the plant clinics that are located at our office, or you can call, or they have an email, and you can ask them questions, and they'll answer them during those times.
Okay.
So it's to help when we have so many phone calls coming in and so forth. They're really great to have because they're very helpful. They enjoy talking to people and learning about their gardens while helping them answer their questions.
And what does it cost?
Costs nothing.
What?
Yep, it's free. It's a free service. Yes.
How do you do that?
We do somehow.
I know you do. I know you do. But it's a plant clinic, and where's the phone? What's the number?
The phone number is 919-731-1433, if I remember right.
That's right.
Yep, I got to refresh my memory every year on that phone number.
All right, 731-1433.
Yes.
And that's the plant clinic. Someone will be there. Is it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday?
It's Monday and Wednesday.
Monday and Wednesday.
And
okay.
you can even call anytime, really. It'll go directly to their line. You can leave a voicemail, and they'll call you back during those times.
All right.
So even if you think of a question you don't want to have to call during those times, you can call and leave a message, and they'll get back to you.
Okay, so the phone is working and is on 24/7.
It is.
So you can call, leave a message, leave your number, and if you call, say, Thursday, well, they'll call you back Monday with
that's
the
right.
answer or to help you with your problem. And that's anything from grasses to
It is any
flower gardens.
as far as homeowners with lawns, landscapes, trees, shrubs, vegetable gardens, they can help with that.
Anything at all, and that's with how to do this or how to plant or how to
pest questions,
pest control,
weeds,
everything.
insects, diseases.
All right,
Yes.
call an expert if you have a problem, because they will help you.
They
can
will.
help. 731-1433. Okay, Jessica, I'm glad you're back.
Yeah.
This is great
Thank you.
information. Love the seed thing. And now I want to go out and plant some lettuce. I love greens to start with, all kinds of greens.
Yeah,
lettuce
that's a vegetable I enjoy planting and watching it grow and eating it afterwards.
How do you control pests with these? Is pest a problem with?
It can be as you get later in the season and pests start to be a problem with the warmer temperatures. Sometimes aphids, aphids show up on a lot of vegetables and so forth. And but there's a lot of like insecticidal soap, organic controls that work well for aphids.
Yeah.
And so there's a few little insects that pop up, but usually they're towards the end of when those warm temperatures can't come, and they're going to be finished with that anyway with those crops.
Okay. So, as always, wash before you eat. Wash your veggies and your hands before you eat.
Right.
I used to go out to my granddad's farm and just pick stuff off the vine, and you can't do that anymore. You just don't do that. It's just not safe.
Yeah.
So it's best to be safe and wash your veggies before you eat them. And that includes what you grow as well.
Yes.
Right? All right. Jessica, thank you. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
All right, sounds great.
All right. And we're back, and I always enjoy having Jessica in the studio with us. She brings so much good information.
Yes, she does.
And she'll be back with us in a couple of weeks.
That's right.
That's right.
Glad to have her.
The Spring Fish Fry, the Wayne Shrine Club Spring Fish Fry is ready
It's
to
back
take place.
again.
Woohoo! I love this. The Spring Fish Fry is ready for April 19th. Lunch at 11, it goes from 11 till 2, and then again 2 to 4 p.m. Each plate is $7, a fried fish, coleslaw, potato salad, and hush puppies.
Makes me hungry.
And if you eat in at Herman Park Center, you also get a glass of tea or water. They also have that fantastic dessert table.
Of course they do. I know.
Oh, it's just, I'm telling you. Proceeds will benefit the Wayne Shrine Club activities. Payments are not tax deductible as charitable contributions. However, the Wayne Shrine Club does such amazing work here in Wayne County. They are just, they just do so many things.
Yes, they do.
You don't know half of what because they don't publicize what they do. They're more interested in helping the children and helping support the Shriners Hospital, but they do so much. And this is the fundraiser they have. They have 2 a year. This one is the one that they use to raise money to benefit the Shrine Club itself, to keep them going. Their operating expenses and to fund some of the other many projects they have running throughout the county. So $7 a ticket, 3 locations, Herman Park Center, eat-in only. You can drive through Herman Park. All you do is drive up, you roll down your window, you pay some your money, you get your food, and you're on your way.
Can't beat it.
It's so easy.
It's
You don't
all
even
for a
have to
good
get out of the
cause.
car. That's
And what's
right.
the third location?
In Mount Olive on Highway 55, between Highway 117 Business and Highway 117 Bypass, right there next to Robert's Machine Shop.
They have it there every year.
Every year.
Same location.
Same location. And I go to all three.
Do you?
I do.
Wow.
All three,
You
yeah.
love some fish and
I
some
love
Shriners.
some fish and the Shriners. I love the Shriners. It's a great organization.
It is a fantastic
April 19th,
organization.
mark that on your calendar. That's, of course, a Friday. All right?
Yes.
All right.
Community Soup Kitchen's having their annual meeting Monday, March 25th at 5 o'clock p.m. It's going to
boy.
be held actually at the Community Soup Kitchen, which, if you don't know, is at the corner of Oak and James Street right here in downtown Goldsboro. The board of the Community Soup Kitchen is going to host this meeting. They're going to announce new officers, Volunteer of the Year, and a brief report of this past year's numbers, how many people they have fed in our community. The meeting begins at 5:15, but they're asking you to be there at 5 o'clock. If you're interested in contacting them, you can call the Community Soup Kitchen, but it is Monday, March the 25th.
You know, that's another one. That's
We have
another organization.
so many wonderful organizations
Yeah.
that do good and give back and help in our community.
And they can always use volunteers.
Yes, they can.
Always need contributions and help. And you know, if people, if the general public was able to sit and look at who is being fed, we're talking about whole families here,
Exactly.
including children. Mm-hmm. Who are taking advantage of this. And so if you can help, please do.
That's right.
All right?
That's
All
right.
right. Let's see what else we
Anything
have.
else coming up, Mr. Wayne?
Well, this Sunday, day after tomorrow, 2 o'clock, Mr. Smith, G.M. Smith of Snow Hill, will be showing his documentary entitled Forgotten Tragedy. It's all about the Tuscarora War that happened he'll be showing this at the Wayne County Museum. Admission is absolutely free. The film documents the fall of the Tuscarora stronghold in present-day Greene County. For 3 weeks in March of 1713, a force of colonial troops from South Carolina, along with members of several tribes, including the Cherokee, the Catawba, all laid siege to the fort, which held hundreds of Tuscarora men, women, and children. He's going to tell you all about it, the tragedy that followed. This will be at 2 o'clock, March 24th, at the Wayne County Museum on North William Street, Goldsboro.
Very good. Well, Wayne, I believe that just about wraps it up for today. It's been a great show. We've had all these great interviews. Thank you so
Yes.
much for listening and watching, and hope you continue to learn what's happening locally in your community. We'll be glad to share your information if you'll email it to us 2 weeks in advance. What email, Wayne Alley?
That is WGTV@waynegov.com. WGTV@waynegov.com.
That's right. We know there's so many things happening this spring, so we'll be
Yeah.
glad to help
Oh,
you share
yeah.
it. That's what we're here for. We're a partnership between the County of Wayne and the City of Goldsboro. We continue this partnership and want to spread the news.
Exactly. So join us every morning, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. And if you miss that program, you can see it again at noon or again at 5:30 right here on Channel 10 in Time Warner Land, or in the northern part of Wayne County on UVerse, AT&T's UVerse on Channel 99, or on YouTube as well.
That's right. Thank you so much. We hope you've learned what's happening in your community.